Welcome to Cold Cases, where these guys are each gonna drink a case of beer and try to solve an unsolved mystery.
My name's Rusty.
I'm Cayson.
I'm gonna present these guys with 12 beers and 12 corresponding pieces of evidence.
Oh yeah, that was it.
They'll be able to examine each piece of evidence once they've finished that beer.
I'm gonna say it. I love you.
I love you too, man.
Once you're done, it'll be up to you to decide who killed JFK. Are you ready?
Ready.
Let's go.
Bang. All right. John F. Kennedy was killed November 22nd, 1963 in Dallas, Texas on a motorcade through Dealey Plaza, right? There's a 10-month investigation called the Warren Commission. They find that it was a lone shooter. Former Marine Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, fired 3 shots from the building that he worked in, the Texas School Book Depository. Over a decade later, there's a House investigation in the late 70s. The House Select Committee for Assassinations, they find in their conclusion that he was assassinated, quote, likely as part of a conspiracy. But they never name any conspirators. Close it again. Here we are today with little more information than we ever had then. That's what we're working with, but we're gonna present you with some stuff that might change your mind. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
You can start beer 1.
Cayson, how are we feeling going into this?
I feel pretty good. I'm pretty confident that he's dead.
You know, I was
I've seen some
skeptical at
footage.
first, but it feels like that's kind of the only cheers, by the way. Should we try and get this one started off with...
I think we have to just kill this one
Right.
pretty quickly.
Oh,
That was a poor showing. All right.
this is gonna be so fun for both of
This is
us.
gonna be so quick too.
I know.
What if it's just his head?
It's a severed
That's a
head.
clue one.
How'd they get this?
Oh, there's 2 sheets. You can't even tell that that's JFK.
Right.
I'm getting that from context clues.
I think it is safe to assume that this is JFK, which means we're off to a pretty strong start.
This says Zapruder, which you didn't even mention Zapruder.
This might as well be in Chinese, is kind of what I'm gathering so far. Excuse you.
Pardon me, that's a building.
Right.
I assume that's where the shot came from. And that looks like where he died, where
Right.
he perished.
Knee-jerk reaction, not that impressive of a shot.
I would assume this is the video footage.
Are we gonna watch a guy die right now?
I think we will.
Wait, did he already get shot?
Oh yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah, so he died almost immediately.
Why is this, like, readily
shot in
available?
the head.
So just watch a guy get shot in the head.
Yeah, it's definitely a bullet. Can we get Willy out here to double check on the...
Barkeep?
Yes.
Yeah, so here's my question. We're allowed to watch his head get blown off?
Yeah. So that's the Zapruter Film.
Who's this Zapruder character?
The guy who filmed it. He was just a store owner.
Have we looked into him at all?
He has a
That's
pretty
up
good
to you.
vantage point. Pretty good vantage
Let's
point.
go to the board. First of all, my first suspect is this Zapruder character.
I think you'd have to. He had the best vantage point.
This was at the height of the Cold War, correct?
Yeah.
Germany's not far from Russia. So maybe this Zapruder character.
Oh, assuming he's German.
I think it's safe to assume he's not from Dallas. Just so we can get a clear shot, this is where they're saying Lee was.
That's what they say.
He hits JFK here. Zapruder is filming here. Zapruder is much closer to JFK than, you know, the book suppository. Like if I'm an assassin,
You say book suppository? Maybe he thought it was a suppository factory and he was looking to get some
He's a
suppository.
sick fuck.
I think anyone with 3 names is just as suspicious as a German spy.
Do we know how many names this Zapruder character had? Did he just have the one name, or is he had 3
It
names
sounds like
as
he just
well?
had the one.
I think his name was Abraham Zapruder, if that helps.
Well,
Whoa.
other guy who got assassinated.
I could be mistaken. I believe the car JFK was in was a Lincoln.
It's all coming together. Somebody's excited. The coolest way to pour beer, you're gonna crack it, you're gonna leave the tab up like this. You're gonna meet in the middle, and then you're just gonna put it like that, and it fills itself up. Oh, never mind. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
So I feel like we made a lot of progress on that.
We did. I think we almost sold it, honestly.
Barkeep.
Someone say barkeep? You can crack that thing open?
We're about to.
Yeah.
You want to give us a rundown on what it's going to be?
I think you'll be able to figure this one out.
Okay.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
Every time is this head.
Whoa. I think this is the Lee guy. The guy with the gun.
Okay, this is the gun that they recovered. This is Lee Harvey Oswald posing with the gun.
Same gun.
And then just an illegible
Some sort of a postcard.
letter photocopied.
What is that? Two more from.
I don't read cursive.
All right. How are we feeling about what we got?
We
positive about
pieced
this one.
these. Yeah.
Well, that one has a caption.
Oh. Dallas policemen hold the murder weapon used to assassinate President John F. Kennedy high over his head as he carries it through the crowd of newsmen at police headquarters.
He ordered that gun via mail, and that is what he mailed to the gun company.
We gotta bring that back.
With
I
his
know.
alias.
We know that he owned this gun.
We don't know that gun
We don't know that this
delivers
is
the
the
bullet,
same
though.
gun, right?
Correct, yeah. And this camera in the photo, is this the same Zapruder camera as well?
No.
Pretty convenient.
Zapruder's in the back like, Cayson, do you want to go to the board real quick and just kind of just,
Where do I even piece these together?
like wherever you feel like it should go, that's going to give you the best opportunity to solve the mystery. We haven't gathered a whole ton through these first two beers, but what I will say is we know where he got shot from. We're sure he's dead because we saw him get shot in the head. What we don't know is like, that could have been anyone's gun.
It's the bad man.
I have a feeling, Cayson. Can I just be honest with you?
Yeah.
I have a feeling this is going to go haywire here in the next like 30 minutes.
It really will.
On guard. I'll let you try my Wu-Tang style.
Are we chugging everyone?
I think you gotta go until you can. Think about how many sober guys have tried to figure out who killed JFK.
A lot, and they've gotten nowhere.
They've got literally nowhere.
nowhere, yeah.
So my thought is, the deeper down the rabbit hole we go, we might see something that they missed.
That's a good point.
You guys drink that yet?
We finished half.
Oh, okay. Wait, you each do half of one?
Excuse me, he was talking.
I'm so sorry.
Barkeep!
What?
Barkeep!
You just wanted to do it?
I'm forgetting how the game works.
That's all right. I'm happy to be here.
Wait, are these JFK's butt cheeks?
Those are JFK. That's his
Whoa.
autopsy report.
Where did you find these?
If this is like an autopsy, but he's still our president and they kept underwear on him.
Yeah, I
They
did
did
that.
not, though. This one they did not.
So that's Governor John Connally. He was sitting right in front of JFK. And to the left.
Guy's trying to solve a different murder
yeah,
right now.
He didn't die. He didn't die.
I don't care about this guy.
Oh, this was on the same day.
According to the Warren Commission, he got shot by the same bullet.
My ass. Kind of did the governor a little dirty with his.
All right, but anyway, so they think, based on the video evidence and the timing and everything,
Right.
there's no way that Oswald could have fired 2 shots from that gun quick enough to have shot both Kennedy and Connally as quickly
So
as
it
they
had
got
to have
him.
gone through Connally.
Through Kennedy, who was behind him. Because remember the shot, if you look at your outline of the shooting, it came from behind. And so this is what they present as the single bullet theory. It's like
Right.
the staple of the
Wait, so the bullet
Warren
bounced
Commission.
from his shoulder
It-
to his neck?
It
into the
redirected
other
in
guy?
his body. Basically, it entered JFK like here,
Right.
came out like in his throat, went and hit Connally like right there,
I can't stop looking at this.
and then it went through his wrist and then into his thigh. And that is all completely from the Warren Commission.
We gotta
So,
cover this up. I'm
Cayson-
just looking at that guy's penis. Autopsy the whole time.
Cayson, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What he just presented us sounds fucking ludicrous.
That's a crock of shit. That's nothing. That's made up.
Let's go to the board.
Yeah.
I will give you that I'm not the most well-read guy when it comes to like how bullets leave and exit bodies. But like, here, you come up here.
The back.
Sit on this seat.
I'm JFK.
Yeah, you're JFK. I'm the bullet.
Do you want me to be Connally?
Okay, so you're telling me it goes according to this guy, it goes in here, it comes out your tie knot,
And
which
I
is
think
so funny.
This is why he was like doing this.
right. It then hits near Connally's right armpit,
Yeah.
and you were like doing
Like this or
He
something?
was like, you were like doing something with your hands up here.
Okay.
It came out
Yep.
of your thing and hit it shattered your right wrist.
Yeah.
And then it wounded your left thigh.
He's a Marine.
Pretty good.
The Marines know like a special technique that like shatters wrists. And
That's the Marine technique.
so Kennedy, let's just take it from the top.
Yeah.
Kennedy was sitting there.
He's sitting
Why
there.
was he in Dallas?
He gets hit by a single bullet 9 times.
Correct.
And then Oswald was like, I don't think he's dead.
I think
Let's
maybe
fire a
the
third
before
one.
that. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I feel like we're on fire.
I feel like we really are.
The worst detectives in the world.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. I love you.
I love you too, man. I like your vibe.
Do you guys have any pickle spears?
Just beer and evidence.
Oh, awesome. It's an illegible paragraph. I'll give you that one.
So this one needs some context, all right? November 25th, right? So this is 3 days after the shooting. A memo from the Deputy Attorney General of the U.S. to one of Lyndon Johnson's top aides, and it says, the public must be satisfied that Oswald was the assassin, that he did not have Confederates who are still at large, and that the evidence was such that he would have been convicted at trial. 2, it says...
What are Confederates in this?
Co-conspirators. Confederates in the traditional sense of the word.
So they're telling the public essentially what to believe.
Well,
That seems like a demand the way you read it.
There are documented communist ties of Oswald's, and he says in here, speculation about that has to be cut off.
Do you know what this feels like to me, Cayson? You know when you were a kid, you were like, why is it this way to your parents? And they were like, because I said so. Like he's just saying like, we're saying this, you have to believe it.
That's 3 days after the shooting.
Oh, he
They don't know
didn't
shit
even
yet.
give it a
crazy.
chance. You know, I hate to throw words like stones, but I don't like the cut of this guy's jib.
Katzenbach.
Another German, I think.
I think there's something. Let's go to the book.
Okay.
Wait, is it Bach with an umlaut?
No, just I think it's B-A-C-H.
Let's just say that sounds like a brother who used to have an umlaut in his
Yeah, it
name.
sure does. Yeah, check it out. What happened to this Lee Harvey Oswald character?
Oh, you haven't heard yet? It's fucking crazy. This guy, Jack Ruby. Can I skip ahead?
Yeah, I mean, Clue 11's gonna not hold quite as much weight, but
So-
I'll allow it.
This guy, Jack Ruby, killed Lee Harvey Oswald before we were able to hear Lee Harvey Oswald speak.
The one thing he did speak while he was getting arrested, he yelled, "I'm just a patsy."
That would have been good information to know.
You know a case is the hardest to solve after 48 hours. When did this happen?
No.
All right, beer 5, come on.
Pardon me, I'm sorry.
Did I ever tell you about how to make the stinkiest fart?
You can open it now.
It's about farts.
This guy will not shut up about the fucking case. Can't you tell we're busy?
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell you about it later.
All right, that's why JFK got killed.
Oh, awesome. You know what? No. We're going to take a stand. If it's in cursive or it's not highlighted, you have to
Let me
read
take a look at the letter at least.
That's a letter that Lee Harvey Oswald wrote.
Dude, it's in Russian.
No, the postmark is in Russian. Read what he wrote. Read what he wrote. You can read it.
Take a seat. I, Lee Harvey Oswald, do hereby request that my presence. I literally. Why was this ever a way we wrote English?
When did this letter?
Like, if you can read that,
I've
got bad
entered the
handwriting.
Soviet Union for the express purpose of applying for citizenship in the Soviet Union through the means of naturalization.
A naturalized
Where's
citizen
this
is someone
guy
that
from?
moves there and
So-
then becomes a Soviet.
Correct.
Is he from America?
Yes. 1959, when he's 19 years old. Mind you, all the shit, assassination, everything, he's 24 for all that. 19 years old, he defects to the Soviet Union. He goes to Helsinki, Finland, through Helsinki, goes into Moscow, and tries to renounce his U.S. citizenship.
Why did he want to do that?
He was a Marxist and he's sympathetic with their cause. He went there, but here's what happens. The Soviet Union denies his request for citizenship. Thankfully, he's renouncing U.S. citizenship hasn't been processed, so he's like, all right, never mind, I'm going back to the U.S., and he gets right back in with almost no issue coming back into the U.S., which is a little sus in a lot of people's
Interesting.
minds.
He went from a Marxist to a marksman.
Nice.
That's my roommate. We used to live together.
Have we considered that maybe this was a fake? Like the U.S. was in on it, and they would go there, be like an insurgent in the Russian government or whatever.
It's definitely a fake letter.
Right?
It's definitely a fake letter, for sure.
Glad you're on my side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brooks.
Wait, you want to know some other fun facts about the Soviet Union stuff? He comes back with a wife.
This barkeep does not shut the fuck up.
Chatty.
Little chatty Cathy.
He comes back with a wife.
Is it a
Harvey Oswald?
Russian
Russian
wife?
and she gets into the U.S. no problem either.
Wait, was she busty?
Can we get a picture of her, please?
Theory, pull up busty Mrs. Oswald.
Is that going to give us any insight? We're not going to be able to read that.
I think my thought process was in the you know how the old saying
2 birds in the hand is better than one on the corkboard.
I've heard that before.
I was thinking like it doesn't make any sense in my hand, but if we can see it, kind of annotate it, maybe it will. So
Also, if I had a bird in my hand, I'd freak out.
It's a good point. It's like, why didn't...
I wouldn't immediately kill the bird. I'd be like, holy shit, what did this bird do?
How'd I get this bird in my hand?
You know what I thought of? Since it's Lee Harvey Oswald characters from New Orleans, and there's some sort of magic
I'm
bullet.
not totally sure why we connected these two things.
I thought the board needed more yarn. It looks pretty dry yarn.
Just to reiterate for the viewers.
Yes.
So he successfully went to Russia, tried to renounce his citizenship, and then immediately got back into the U.S. with like no trouble.
Yeah.
Which in the middle of the
wife,
Cold
too.
War, in the middle of the war on communism, that feels like a thing that the U.S. government would be like, no, fuck
Get out of here.
Get out of here,
out of
man.
here.
Come on,
It's
man.
raised a lot of concerns.
You had a Russian wife as well.
Well, maybe have we considered she was so busty that they like weighed their options and they were like,
Didn't even check
I guess
her
it's like
passport.
you
Didn't
know,
even check her passport.
the customs guy's eyes popped out of his head and his tongue rolled out like a carpet, and then she just walked right through. Cheers, Portland, stand up. All right, tell us how we died.
Gotta open that up.
Wait, before you open this,
these things.
for your own like livelihood,
I know what you're gonna say. You hope it doesn't have words.
I hope it's not in cursive or some other bullshit.
It's not in cursive, but it has words.
Oh, awesome. I was hoping it'd be the oldest typewriter ever.
Right, this is what I would focus on. This passage that's highlighted, right? This is it from a letter that J. Edgar Hoover wrote. You know who that is?
Yeah.
He was director of CIA.
FBI.
Yeah.
He founded and was
No,
director.
he used to love to wear women's clothes.
Too many guys with 3 names. Have we considered that Lee Harvey and Oswald were 3 different guys? The Central Intelligence Agency advised that on October 1st, 1963,
So this would have been a month and a half.
Oh no, that's cool. Do I talk when you're reading? An extremely sensitive source has reported that an individual identified himself as Lee Oswald, who conducted the Soviet embassy in Can you hold this for a second?
He contacted the embassy. He didn't conduct the embassy.
Talk to you over here for a second. Can I talk to you over here for a second?
Hey, yeah, you get 1 minute with me.
I'm trying to figure out a fucking murder. I pay you to bring me fucking beers. I don't tell you to tell me when contacted means conducted, all right?
You're right.
Know your fucking place.
You're right.
You're a humble barkeep.
So you think he meant to say conducted?
I'm allowed to say whatever he fucking decided that he meant.
You're right. Yep. All right. What are we drinking, boys? This beer. The beers from the thing.
As I was saying, an extremely sensitive source has reported that an individual identified himself as Lee Oswald, who conducted... I will say the letters are smudged. Who contacted Soviet embassy in Mexico City inquiring as to any messages. Observed photographs of the individual referred to the above. The fuck does this doesn't mean anything. Explain it to us.
Lee Harvey. Okay. October 1963, a month and a half before the assassination, somebody identifying themselves as Lee Harvey Oswald goes to the
Harvey was not present.
Goes to the Soviet embassy in Mexico City and asks if there are any messages for him. According to FBI agents that investigate this, the man that went and did that, not Lee Harvey Oswald. The reports come back saying, oh, it was a short, fat guy saying he was Lee Oswald looking for messages at the embassy.
Like, there probably weren't security cameras back then. So, like, the photographic evidence is, like, a guy so short and so fat walked into the room that someone was like, we gotta document this
look
guy.
at this guy.
I'm Lee Oswald. Any messages?
It's like Lee Oswald.
Like, no, you're not.
Oh, you're talking about Lee Oswald, the short, fat guy?
So basically,
some guy pretending to be him.
What we can gather from this is there's a brother out there who's pretending to be Lee Oswald.
Before the assassination, though. Before Lee Oswald's anyone.
Someone is trying to connect Lee Harvey Oswald, or in this case, just Lee and Harvey, to the Soviets.
True, his middle name was not there.
Also, how fun would it be to be at the Soviet embassy in Mexico City?
Oh, it'd be so sick.
Spend all day being a communist, and at the end of the day, you're like,
You're just the last dinner.
The last two guys at a bar.
Just kidding.
All right,
What
cheers.
is beer 9?
Someone go.
Do you ever think about how like we're afraid of rats, but we're not afraid of squirrels?
Bushy tail though.
Right. But it's like the same rodent package
Harvest
different.
nuts.
Your mom
Same
harvests
thing.
nuts. Cheers.
Dude, take that out of your mouth right now. My mom does not harvest nuts. My mom's an angel.
All right. All right. Now take a look at that evidence.
I mean, I'm not reading this.
Pages 6 and 21, I've highlighted the relevant points.
This is all redacted.
That's 9.
Is that not back to back?
That's not 6.
All right,
This is
all right.
a testimony of James
I'll be
Wilcott.
serious. I'll be serious.
This is a testimony.
I'll be serious.
I know.
Just
I'm
let
telling
me-
you what it is.
You highlighted it.
Oh, it says it right there. All right. What is it? Tell them what it is.
This is the testimony of James B. Wilcott, former employee of the Central Intelligence Agency, and I'm only going to read the highlighted parts.
So this was.
Page is not lit so far. There you go.
All right, we're gonna edit this together so it's a reenactment. I'm Mr. Goldsmith, you're Mr. Wilcott. Drawing your attention to the period immediately after the assassination of President Kennedy, at the time, did you come across any information concerning Lee Harvey Oswald's relationship with the CIA?
Yes, I did.
And will you tell the committee what the relationship was?
Well, it was my understanding that Lee Harvey Oswald was an employee of the agency and was an agent.
Put some heart behind it.
Well, it was my understanding that Lee Harvey Oswald was an employee of the agency and was an agent of the agency.
What do you mean by the term agent?
That he was a regular employee receiving a full-time salary for agent work for doing CIA operational work of the CIA.
I was focused on like what
Me
my next
too.
line was. I
Me
wasn't
too.
even listening to
Well,
what
that's the biggest thing right there.
You worked for the CIA.
And go to page
where's
21.
Where's this transfer from?
This was part of the House Select Committee in the late 70s.
Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm Mr. Goldsmith. What is? No, I have to tell you what the thing is.
I already said it.
I didn't ask you a question. What is that opinion, Mr. Wilcott?
I believe that Oswald was a double agent, was sent over to the Soviet Union to do intelligence work, that the defection was phony and it was set up, and that I believe that Marina Oswald was an agent that had been recruited sometime before.
Time out. Is Marina his wife?
yeah.
Okay.
Was an agent that had been recruited sometime before and was waiting there in Tokyo for Lee Harvey Oswald.
Wait, so-
you say what's the there's more highlighted here too.
And what is the basis for that opinion?
The basis for that is discussions that I had people with at the XXXXX station.
If it says extra, say redacted.
Oswald was an agent of the CIA run out of redacted station, and that he was freed from Russia there in the final courses in Russia and was trained by CIA people at Atsugi.
I will say it's kind of funny to just redact everything, and then the guys at Atsugi are like, whoa!
This was part of the House Select Committee on Assassinations investigation in the late 70s. I don't believe it was declassified though until like 20 years later.
All right, so Wilcott says spy. Wilcott says spy.
Wilcott says spy.
Wilcott is saying that he thinks that
Yeah.
Lee Harvey Oswald is believed to be a double agent and his wife. We still
Wait,
don't even
Lee-
know how busty she is. So it's like,
Yeah, can we get a picture again?
if she has like giant honkers, like she probably couldn't
Yeah.
be a spy.
Everybody would look at her immediately.
They need to be like, make like lateral cuts.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. That was his wife.
She's not that busty.
Look up Lee Harvey Oswald boob wife.
What?
I think boobs. I think what is you set us up for failure here because you're giving us things that I think we could probably figure out sober.
Yeah, I mean that's the name of the game with cold cases, right? It's a battle against time.
If you're a regular Joe who does not work for the CIA, you're probably not going to have enough confidence to be like, I'm just a fucking patsy or whatever. But if you are involved with the CIA and you know how they operate, your first instinct would be like, yeah, they just fucking set me up, I'm a patsy.
Yeah. Next beer.
Cronin. I have a proposal for you. Speed round. We're gonna get to the bottom of each clue
like it.
in 5 minutes.
Done.
I'd say less.
The first thought that comes to your head is the theory we go with. That should be a rule going forward in cold cases, is on the last 4 beers, no matter how bad your first theory is, that has to be the one.
like it. All right, so this is
What is this mess?
news article 1961. John F. Kennedy fires CIA Director Allen Dulles after the failure of the Bay of Pigs invasion. Bay of Pigs is this, that's a whole other thing. But
I didn't know about the Bay of Pigs as well. That sounds like an awesome restaurant.
Yeah, so anyway.
Oh, imagine the pork.
Bay of Pigs is a CIA operation that JFK is pressured into like authorizing basically, because it's right when he takes office. Goes horribly. So he fires Alan Dulles, who's the head of the CIA. Then he goes out and he says, quote, he wants to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it into the winds.
He had such a way with words.
And Alan Dulles is pissed, obviously, right? And then guess who is appointed to the Warren Commission to investigate?
Obviously, Cayson and I know what the Warren Commission is, but just for maybe people at home who have forgotten.
Give us a rundown.
What is the Warren Commission again?
It was a 10-month investigation led by Earl Warren, who's the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Oh!
He was the former CIA director.
He was the main guy?
He was one of the 8 guys.
JFK made him the fall guy for the Bay of Pigs. He gets fired, and then he gets appointed to the Warren Commission, so he has a reason to hate. Am I just regurgitating what you said?
Yeah, but this is good.
But he had,
No, it's
I
good,
think just for my own brain, I
Yeah,
use it.
yeah.
Imagine like your boss fires you,
Yeah.
and then your boss gets shot in the head in a convertible, and you're like, we should figure out who this guy is. Do you want to join? And you're like, yeah, I think I can figure it out.
Yeah.
And you're presumably still very close with people in the CIA and have a reason to want the CIA to exist. And
How many of these guys do you think were gay?
Just by looking at him, gay for sure. Dude, look at that guy, gay. Straight, secretly gay.
all right, next beer.
Secretly gay.
Okay, wait. Let's cheers to this.
Yeah.
I think people are the gayest at 9. All right, I'm sorry. Oh, awesome! It's the longest paragraph.
tell you what it means.
So small.
I'm going to tell you what it means. This is a testimony of Officer Baker, who encountered Lee Harvey Oswald 90 seconds after the shots were fired. He sees him on the 2nd floor of the Texas School Book Depository. Shots were fired from the 6th floor.
Do we know what he was doing? Like what Baker saw him doing?
He just was standing there. Apparently, he was seen sipping a Coca-Cola. And the Officer Baker's with the guy who runs the School Book Depository. And he was like, yo, who's this? And the guy says, oh no, he works here.
Wait, Willie. So like, let's just role play this real
Kind of a
quick.
leading question.
You're Officer Baker.
Yes.
I'm Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
You're
I'm the owner
you're
of
the
the
other. No,
book-
you're the
books-
other employee.
Books
Yes.
depository.
I've been stocking books all day.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like hanging out, having like my Coke break.
Yeah.
You bust in. If I just shot the president, I literally just blew the president's head into a half.
Yep.
Like you wouldn't be like hanging out.
Look at this. You testified, I believe, that he did not seem to be out of breath. Officer Baker, yes, that is right, sir.
So wait, but were they on
did
the
not-
floor that they claim the
4 floors below. This is what we have an interactive part.
Oh, please.
This is what I spent all week
Okay,
doing.
90. So how many steps is that?
60.
Okay.
So
Okay,
up
ready?
and down 30 times.
Okay,
and
ready?
then you're gonna be the cop and you have to say,
Yeah.
you have to be like, excuse me, and you have to act cool and not out of breath.
Does the cop have his gun
Was
drawn?
Lee Harvey Oswald
Yeah,
like
he did have his gun drawn.
Was Lee Harvey Oswald like a famously like out of shape like loser?
No, he was in pretty good shape.
Right. So this is not a fair assessment. All right, ready?
All right, ready? 3,
Wait,
2,
how long do I have to do?
90 seconds.
Okay, ready?
3, 2,
Wait, how many steps?
60.
Okay.
So up and down 30
Yep.
times. 3, 2, 1, go.
2, 3, 12, 13, 14.
28, 29, 30. Grab the Coke.
Hey, you, what's up?
I'm just checking out this new Witching Boy book.
Did you kill the president?
Our president?
The president.
No.
All right, I believe you.
And then I just like got away with
You
it.
just walked out the door.
I'm able to mask my like out of breathness. I think if I just shot the president, I would be more antsy.
So you want to try one more time, but you shoot the president?
All right, get him in
All right,
there.
where is he?
Wait, so there are people that were like, yeah, dude, Lee was like kicking it.
Yeah, like people he works with are like, I saw him like 2 minutes before.
You and I share an office.
Yeah.
You could not account for me almost 99% of the day.
True, yeah.
Like, yeah, you can't account for him. There's no 2-man job in the books depository.
Yeah, I guess I don't
there
really know
definitely
that
is
much.
though. Because how do they get the books on the top shelf?
For books, I actually don't know.
They have to like lunge each other up there.
Dude, imagine how-
That'd be funny. Like the 12th here. Let's do it. I'm Lee, you're Harvey, Will's Oswald. Like this is a 2-man job, but like most are 1-man jobs
Yep.
at most.
Definitely stocking book right here.
Smack 'em. You're gonna like this next one.
You keep saying that, and they keep getting like more confused.
All right, 45 minutes after JFK is killed, Dallas police officer J.D. Tippit stops a man who matches
Time
the
out.
description.
J.D. Tippit.
Time out.
And that is a slot wide receiver.
Time out.
That's a slot receiver for the Dallas Cowboys right there. J.D.
Yeah.
Tippit.
J.D. Tippit stops a man who matches Oswald's description 45 minutes after the murder. Guess what that man does? Shoots and fucking kills the guy. J.D. Tippit, cop, shot dead.
Wait,
Time out.
Dead.
Tippit said?
Tippit shot dead.
Who killed him?
Wait. Can I explain it?
these
Because
are
I think we're on the same wavelength. So I think like the way I'm gonna explain it's gonna make more sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
There's a brother named J.D. Tippit, right?
Yes.
Catches this guy that matches the description of our boy, and the guy pops a cap in his ass.
And this right here is witness testimony. Multiple people witnessed it and picked him out of a line.
So
or something.
let's say I'm Lee Harvey Oswald. I realize I might be caught.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, we got to make a move here.
Yep.
I maybe think about it for like 15 minutes. I'm like, my best move is to like get out of this fucking place, right? So he leaves work. Do you know if he was scheduled to leave work at that time?
Well, everyone went. The president just got killed right outside the
Right, so work's off.
Yeah.
It's like President's Day. So here's my question. If you're watching the parade, who the fuck would have looked up?
I think the better case for that, like, how would J.D. Tippit have known it was him is there's a lot of guys that kind of look like Lee Harvey Oswald.
Here in Dallas, Texas.
Like you see that you have the picture of him there,
Every single
right?
guy looks like him.
So what made Tippit say, I'm gonna pull over to this guy? That seems a little weird.
It's possible that Lee Harvey Oswald went to his apartment, grabbed a handgun, and was running down the sidewalk with a handgun.
Wait,
which is why he
True.
pulled over.
Also
because
true.
if I saw a white guy running down the sidewalk with a handgun,
They
Right after the president.
actually
I
caught
would
Lee Harvey Oswald with a
drive
handgun?
past. But
Yeah, he had a gun when they got him in the theater.
Maybe the coolest guy ever just got shot. You go, maybe brother needs to carry.
Well, also if he was a patsy, right, and he thinks, oh my God, he sees the president get shot right by his office,
Right.
and he knows he's got these weird CIA connections.
And he knows the
And he
power of the CIA where he's like, I'm probably gonna go down. I'm not going down without a fight.
So he's like, I'm gonna go get a gun and go to my secret meetup spot and try to fucking get out of here.
it seems like the worst possible thing to do, though. I would go to my apartment and I would just chill for a while. This is 11 already?
This is your second last.
Can
last one.
I just say, come on.
2 days after the assassination, Lee Harvey Oswald is being moved from Dallas Police Headquarters into an armored car in the basement to be brought to jail. And while he's being transported through the basement to the car, Jack Ruby, a local nightclub owner with like some sus mob ties, walks up, puts a gun right in his fucking gut and shoots it. Yes.
And I would like to hear your thoughts on this as well. But
Of course.
that feels not really standard practice, right? Like if you're moving into an armored car that suggests like you understand the threat that like
Yes.
other people would have, why were there like, because I think it was like press were down there and he somehow made his way in there. Like, was that abnormal that they had people in there?
But well, I don't know. He should not have been there. He also
that's
knew
what
a
I'm
lot of guys.
saying.
that
I'm
he-
saying, like,
He owned a nightclub. He wasn't a cop. He just owned a nightclub.
Yeah, and he was like suspected to have a lot of mob ties, and it was before he shot.
Sorry. I have a new theory, but sorry. I got really excited.
No, just that Ruby's first encounter occurred 36 hours before he shot him. He was standing within a few feet of Oswald as he was being moved. Later, he was also seen at the police headquarters at a time he was originally supposed to be moved. So this guy had been stalking Oswald since the assassination and finally got his chance. How did he even get in the basement? And then he fucking shot him.
I have a new theory.
Let's hear it.
So JFK was cracking down on mafia. The mafia goes, this was like the height of the mafia's power, was like the 60s, 70s.
Yep.
They were like, let's take this fucking guy out.
They were also in bed with the CIA.
Yes, like let's just kill JFK.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Lyndon gonna do? They killed him. They set up Lee Harvey Oswald. And then before Lee Harvey Oswald had a chance to talk, they were like, let's just pop a cap in him too.
Yeah.
Mafia.
Jack Ruby also died in prison.
But here's the thing, Willie. Jack Ruby had mob ties. Their like one code is saying nothing. You know what I mean? Like he would rather die than say anything. I don't want to speak for Jack Ruby. But let's say like
He told the police actually if they brought him to DC, he would tell them everything.
the mafia thing makes way more sense to me because those guys were getting away with fucking everything back then. Like, have you guys all seen Goodfellas? It's a true story about Henry Hill. Like they got away with like literally robbing Lufthansa, which is the most, like one of the biggest airlines in the world. Like these guys literally got away with murder hundreds of times.
So what ties does Lee Harvey Oswald have to the mafia?
He doesn't. That's the whole point. Is they
it's a trick.
Like it would be like if someone wanted to set Willy up, they would come to this office and they would shoot the president through our window, and then they would be like, "Yeah, it was fucking Willy. He's a like
sick,
a."
He tried to
join the Peace Corps.
He tried to join Russia. All right, ready? Down, set.
You guys know my dad spelled my middle name wrong, my birth certificate?
All right, drink 'em. I can't help it, dude. I'm Willy fucking D.
Why did we land on 12 as like a society? Like that seems like a weird number.
That's how they sell beers, though.
But like retroact. Just let me.
Also, I don't think my foot's 12 inches.
There it is. Look at this. I got another big packet for you guys. All right, this is about George Joannides. So this is documentation that basically shows that George Joannides, who was the CIA liaison to the House Select Committee on Assassinations report, was, hear me out, the case officer for the Cuban exile group Directorio Revolucionario Estudiantil, DRE, which has documented contact with Lee Harvey Oswald multiple times in the months leading up to Kennedy's assassination.
What does that mean in English?
All right, this guy George works for the CIA. So he's the middleman between the CIA and the House Select Committee on Assassinations. And so everything that they get from the CIA has to run through this one guy, George Joannides. And then it comes out after the fact, during the early 60s, when the assassination happened, he was the case officer, which means he was directing and funding this group of Cuban revolutionaries.
He was funding it?
Why is he involved with Cuba?
Cuba's a huge deal at this point, but these anti-Castro guys had
Cuba's hot right now.
This organization that George Joannides ran had repeated contact with Lee Harvey Oswald.
What does that mean?
The one guy who's decides what they
know?
get to see from the CIA had contact with Lee Harvey Oswald in the months leading up to the assassination.
I just think this is, is this fact?
I feel like he was smarter than that.
This
like,
is
he
fact.
comes back from Russia with a busty ass wife.
Right.
You're not gonna risk
Wait,
that.
yeah,
You're not gonna risk that by killing the president.
You bring up a brilliant point, and I want you to kind of illustrate it for us here.
Piece of paper.
Can you just kind of, for the layman who's not familiar with the busty factor, can you just kind of illustrate so maybe A cups are up here, and so on, and what your percentage of getting your husband shot in the head?
I mean, we know what the troops in World War II were fighting for, anti-Nazi. We know what the troops in Vietnam were fighting for, anti-communism.
Right, but we're in a new war.
Yeah, but right in the middle, Lee Harvey Oswald was fighting for.
Well, I think
one busty wife.
I think what we're getting at is we're all hard here.
Yeah,
but I
would shoot a man for that.
Right. Can you just, for the people at home, because you and I obviously because this was really what the Cold War was all about. A lot of people think it was an arms race. They think it was the fight to the death. It was truly about bustiness, and I think this was the Russian thing, right?
Yeah, you can see almost zero bustiness.
Right, in comparison to the American woman at the time, there was a lot of nip showing.
It is very cold in the 1960s.
If this is your country, right, and you're comparing to this hot bod right here.
True. Yeah.
I'm assassinating the president.
I would not kill a president for that. I would kill a president for that.
Exactly.
For sure.
Right. Oh my God. I must
9 times out of 10, dude.
Right. If I was a Soviet spy at this time,
all right, who killed him?
All right, my opinion. If we're talking about Jackie Kennedy, she probably looks more like this than anybody else knows, and any good men would die for that if we're talking facts. This gun meant to take Jackie Kennedy's head off, but it missed and accidentally hit JFK.
Wait, are you saying that the assassination attempt was supposed to be on the First Lady?
It sure was, because look at that sweet bod.
JFK conspiracy nil.
Boom. Close.
Rusty and Cayson 1.
Close.
I think we got 2 great options. Probably was one of those 2. And I'm really proud of all the work you guys put in.
This is ridiculous.